we're ready to do our drawstring, and I have decided to use this color because you're going to put the drawstring in probably about this far down, at least half an inch down. So, you know, looking at what color that was going to go in, I just felt like the best thing to do was use the same color. So, you decide what color you want to use. You only need to cut about half the length that we normally cut for our weft thread. All right, now watch closely because you got to make sure you're at the top. This is the top of the loom. You know, the one with the strings going across horizontally. This is the bottom of the loom where they just go back around. Okay, so make sure you're up here at the top where the strings are horizontal. And what you're going to need to do is find that first weft, find that first warp about right here, and you're going to weave across. So I'm skipping over one every time, just like we always did with our weaving. And if you're confused about where it is, if you'll just kind of look up here at the top, that'll give you a reference point. All right, every once in a while it pulled up a little bit of the yarn, but don't worry about that at all. Just make sure that you are every other piece of warp coming up, the white strings. That way you'll know that you have done it correctly. All right, so you're going to pull it all the way across. And this time, instead of leaving a short tail hanging down, what you're going to want to do is leave a piece that's approximately maybe 4 or 5 inches long. Okay? Now, we're going to roll it over, flip it over, and you're going to do the same thing again. So just kind of figure out where you were and come straight across. And you're weaving by skipping or going over and under. And then once you get to this side, you're going to pull. So basically what you've done is you've woven a loop of yarn all the way around. And what you're going to want to do now is make sure that these are the same length. So you'll take a pair of scissors and just trim that off. And now you'll tie an overhand knot where you make a loop. And then you're just going to put the ends through the loop and pull that tight. Okay? So that's one side completed. One drawstring is in. Now, the other piece of yarn that needs to be the other drawstring is going to have to come out on this side. So you want to make sure you start on the opposite side from the string that you just tied. And this time, you can tell that's the drawstring right there going under and over. So this time you have to pass the other direction, or the opposite pattern. So you're going to go under the second one and over. Whichever way you did it the first time, make sure you do it the opposite way the second time. Why is it giving me there we go. Sometimes you just have to be patient and play with it a little bit to get it in the right place. Alright, so before I pull it across, I want to make sure that every one of these that I picked up on is the opposite from the last time. And it is. So I'm going to pull this across. See, the drawstring won't open and close if you don't do it that way. So again, you're going to leave about 4 or 5 inches hanging out, and you're going to roll it over. Just let this drawstring go up. And now you're going to do the same. So this drawstring went under. So now this one has to go over and then under. Okay. Now that you get all the way across, you're almost finished. So you're going to trim this off the same length. And now tie another overhand knot. So you make a loop, pull your ends through, and tie. Okay? So that's how you put in a drawstring. And later, if you feel like they're not even, you can always go back and even up the little tassel ends. All right, so the next step is you're going to tear off every one of these pieces of cardboard. Sometimes it's easy to pull them off, like mine's really easy right now, but sometimes it's hard to pull them off. Just depends on how thick the cardboard is you're using. Never cut them off. If you cut them off, what's going to end up happening is you're going to cut these little pieces of warp string that are going around, and if you cut those, the entire project will be ruined. So make sure that you don't use scissors, just tear them off. All right, now to get this piece of cardboard out, you have to look down inside, because see, this piece of string that started the whole wrapping around the cardboard needs to be pulled out. So I untaped it. Now look for the other one and pull it off the cardboard too. And now all that's left is pinch this in your hand, break down the cardboard, and then pull the cardboard out. And now the only loose pieces hanging are these two pieces of string. At this point, you'll need to take your student learning guide and this project that you have completed, and I know you're so excited and proud. You're going to take this to me. I'm going to check you off for having finished, and then I'm going to sew these in with a sewing needle down the sides so it secures them, and then you'll be all finished. So that's how the drawstring works, just like that. And to open it, you'll just gently put your fingers in and pull apart. Okay? Congratulations. I can't wait to see your finished product.